Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight for 23 ABC News at 6. I'm Melissa Flores in for Jessica Harrington. Tonight's top stories.
So the bottom line of what our campaign is about and why our message is us, not me, is that we are in this together.
The Democratic frontrunner for the 2020 presidential race right here in Bakersfield. More on Senator Bernie Sanders' visit to Kern County. Plus, a new Netflix show with the Kern County Connection. A look at how a Bakersfield native helped create the show that celebrates Mexican-American culture. Allison?
And rain is already making its way into Kern County from our latest storm system. I have more details on just how much rain you can expect tomorrow when 23 ABC News at 6 starts right now.
Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News at 6 starts now.
We begin tonight with the Democratic frontrunner for President Bernie Sanders making his way to Bakersfield just 11 days away from Super Tuesday. The senator visiting the Central Valley just 2 days after President Trump's visit, both competing for California voters. 23 ABC's Leslie Gooden was at the afternoon rally. She joins us with what he had to say about some Republicans choosing to attend his rally. Good evening, Leslie.
Good evening. Today I had the opportunity to attend the Bernie Sanders rally at Spectrum Amphitheater, and I spoke with several people who attended the rally, and they filled the seats chanting for the presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders. And I was able to speak with other supporters who say they're still undecided, and others who say they have been feeling the burn since 2016. Cheers, applause, and boos could be heard during the rally as Sanders discussed his grassroots campaign. Sanders hit the stage with full momentum, asking the people of Kern County to get out and encourage them to participate in Super Tuesday. The greatest applause could be heard when discussing health care, and the largest boos for when mentioning President Donald Trump.
The American people understand we cannot continue to have a pathological liar as president. We cannot continue to have a corrupt administration. We cannot continue to have a president who is a racist, a sexist, a homophobe.
Sanders says that his campaign volunteers alone in California have knocked on almost 1 million doors. And throughout the crowd, people of all ages and races could be seen listening and chanting. Even registered Republicans like Sandra Larson, who says she's here because Bernie has remained the same since 2016.
I'm also interested in how we manage to reduce the gap in earnings between the people at the very, very top and the people at the bottom. We should be in a country where people can work and afford to eat with what they earn.
Now, it did appear there were a lot of protesters that we could see. I did see one or two when we first entered. But if you want to see the senator's full speech, head to our Facebook page and our website, turn223.com. For now, in studio, Leslie Gooden, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
Leslie, thanks. Ahead of this afternoon's rally, 23 ABC also had a chance to speak with Senator Sanders. 23 ABC's Tori Cooper spoke with him one-on-one to discuss key issues that matter to local voters. Tori?
Yes, Alyssa, Sanders and I met at Meadowsfield Airport, where I had a chance to ask him about water for Kern County farmers and how he plans to keep oil and ag jobs in this community. Even though all of his plans were not spelled out, he did say he thinks he has a good chance to maintain his lead with the help of his grassroots campaign that he believes will appeal to both the minority and the majority right here in Kern County.
It speaks to the needs of working class people. This is a working class community. Our agenda speaks to the needs of the Latino community, of the black community, of the white community. We're bringing people together that says that we need an economy and a government that maybe, just maybe, might start working for working people and not just the billionaires.
Now, as you already know, supporters in Bakersfield turned out to welcome him at the Spectrum Amphitheater for his campaign rally. The Democratic frontrunner for president says one of the main reasons he was here was to help get more Californians to the polls for the March 3rd primary. But he says his plans for farmers in the valley are going to need more time on the drawing board before he can spell them out for voters.
So the farmers here, they get allocated X amount of water each year, but they still have to pay X amount of dollars. So would you plan to give them more water?
I think that, well, this is a difficult issue, and it's something we have to look at. I can't give you a definitive answer now, but a lot of that has to do with local issues and state decisions.
Now, even though Sanders says he needs more time to look at the water issues plaguing farmers in the community, he says workers will still be protected if and when he rolls out his new climate change program. He says within the program, workers in the fossil fuel industry will have 5 years of income, 5 years of health care, and 5 years of job opportunity training. Sanders calling his climate change plan generous, and he says it still supports workers during the transition towards clean energy and the new jobs that he expects to come along with it. Now, Sanders says he likes Bakersfield, and part of the reason he always comes is because this is a working class community, and that's one of the many audiences he is trying to reach. He says he hopes this visit will help him with other voters throughout California ahead of the primary. But for now, live in studio, I'm Tori Cooper for 23 ABC News, connecting you.
Thanks, Tori. And of course, we're going to have much more on Senator Sanders' return to Bakersfield on the Now Bakersfield at 7 p.m. Be sure to also check out our coverage of him at the Spectrum Amphitheater and our interview with him by going to our website, turnto23.com. You can also watch our coverage by downloading our mobile and tablet apps.
Well, storm clouds are rolling into the county this evening as our next system is going to be bringing scattered showers throughout the evening as well as for your Saturday. Now, it didn't feel like the storm was coming in earlier today. We had a high of 74 degrees, so slightly cooler than yesterday, but still 9 degrees above our seasonal average of 65 and still looking at those low 70s here in Bakersfield. So yes, this green that you're seeing are those clouds that are holding rain, but if much is going to be dropping over the next few hours here in Bakersfield, well, it's still warm out, so some of that could be evaporating. But as we head into the evening hours, as soon as those temperatures start cooling down, that's when we will be seeing that rain falling, and it's only going to continue as we head into your Saturday. Now, we are seeing trace amounts of that rain in Taft and Maricopa, but still nothing falling here in Bakersfield. But again, more is on the way as this system makes its way into the region. I'll let you know what that means for temperatures and just how much rain we'll be seeing coming up next.
Today, the law firm of Rodriguez & Associates held a press conference officially announcing their request for a criminal investigation into Supervisor David Couch, among others, for allegedly filing false documents challenging the residency of 4th District Supervisor candidate Emilio Huerta. In January, Delano Mayor Joe Aguirre Jr. filed a petition with the Superior Court to have Emilio Huerta's name taken off the ballot because Aguirre alleges that Huerta does not live in the district. The judge who took the writ of mandate under consideration rejected it, saying he could not intervene so close to the primary election. Attorney Joel Andreessen said during today's press conference that Couch, attorney Brandon Martin, Aguirre, and Fernando Flores made false filings and, quote, "We have proof they submitted false documents to the court."
He filed these documents to try and get Emilio Huerta removed from the March 3rd election ballot. They said that they were trying to remove him because he didn't live in Delano, which was false.
Huerta has said he lives at a home in the 900 block of Belmont Street, which is within the 4th District, and that he moved there in August of 2019. He said he's a roommate of the home's owner, Ricardo Delgado. Huerta maintains that he does have a separate residence on Oleander Street in Bakersfield, but that his primary residence is in Delano. Now on to a 23 ABC Community Connection story straight out of Hollywood. A new Netflix show is being considered a bilingual love letter to the Mexican-American community. Gentefied was shot in Los Angeles with big Hollywood names attached, but the idea behind the show comes from Bakersfield native Marvin Lemus, telling 23 ABC a lot of the inspiration came from his upbringing right here in Kern County.
Making a TV show was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
But Marvin Lemus did it. Marvin is the creator and director of Gentefied, a new Netflix series that tells the story of a Los Angeles Mexican-American family.
I'm more Mexican than all y'all.
Chasing the American dream, while they try to preserve the things that matter to them most, their neighborhood and their immigrant grandfather's taco shop.
We're not gonna save the shop with a burrito. We're gonna save it with some changes.
The Mexican-American identity and the culture and you know, finding a place where you belong.
Born and raised in Bakersfield, this dream has been a long time coming for Marvin.
I have wanted to be a director since I was 8 years old.
He says he became obsessed with storytelling and using a camera to do it.
Way to learn English because like my mom and my dad weren't documented when I was born, and they were immigrants in Bakersfield working, trying to like, you know, build a new life.
In fact, he says his Kern County upbringing was a big inspiration when it came to creating Gentefied.
Telling this story helped me find a peace, I guess you could say, and a love and appreciation for my hometown in a way that I struggled with for a long time, because I never felt like I quite belonged anywhere. It was hard to feel like I could own my hometown.
Over the course of a decade, what started as a web series eventually caught the attention of film festivals, big industry names, and finally what Marvin says is the perfect home for the series, Netflix.
Every day was just so, it felt like magic. It felt like, you know, like the dream is happening, and you're working within a big industry, and there's all these like stars that became attached, and like we have America, and we have Joaquin Cosio, who's from Narcos Mexico, and Wilmer Valderrama like is in our pilot. There was a lot of moments of just gratitude on set.
Marvin says you'll see his own personal struggles reflected in the series.
I had a very difficult relationship with my culture and with my identity as Mexican American, Mexican Guatemalan American.
And you'll watch his grapple with evolving while conserving his community play out in the series too.
Even though this feels like home, like I'm contributing to the wave of gentrification that's happening here. How do you, and does a system allow you to build up your community and let you actually enjoy it, let you stay there? Because I think gentrification and like the system that we're in tends to push people out.
And Marvin says to look out for what he says is his personal signature on the series, references and jokes throughout the episodes about his hometown.
I grew up, we would just crack jokes about Bakersfield, and I think we do that with the people that we love and the things that we love, is like we like to roast them, you know? All these things that like I think growing up especially, there was this insecurity about like, oh, I'm from like, you know, Bakersfield. It's like, you know, we're in the shadow of LA. And now I get to like throw it all in there and have entire plot lines, honestly.
Marvin says the success of Gentefied could mean bringing this dream all the way back home.
Please make it a hit so that maybe if we get another season, I can go to Bakersfield and shoot an episode. Like that would be a dream.
Gentefied is out today on Netflix, and if you'd like to connect with Marvin Lemus, we have posted links to his social media platforms on our 23 ABC Facebook page. Coming up in sports, Carrie will preview our 8 teams playing for a Valley title tonight. Plus, she's checking in with CSUB with Runners Recap. That's coming up when 23 ABC News at 6 returns.
Welcome into 23 ABC Sports. I'm Carrie Osep. The Runners men's basketball team picked up another conference loss last night, their 7th loss in the WAC, but still with a chance to make moves in Vegas in a couple of weeks. Well, I sat down with head coach Rod Barnes recently for Runners Recap, and he spoke on the upcoming postseason and one guy that has been showing out for the team lately. Take a look. One of the other prettier things on the floor was Rockford's own, and I say that because that's where I was born. Yeah. Greg Lee had a big night. How good does it feel to see him kind of hitting his stride here at the end of the season?
Well, we've really been waiting, I mean, in a sense, for Greg to just step up. I mean, like, he's had some good games here and there, but he's a very, very good offensive player. He can shoot from the perimeter. He can handle the basketball. He can pass the basketball. And we've just trying to get him to put it all together. And last night he had a really good game.
And I saw that deep corner, that's his spot.
That's his spot.
What was your spot back in the
top
day?
of the key.
Top of the key.
Yeah, I was a top of the key guy. Because I played point guard, so I was out there all the time.
That's your zone.
That's my zone.
Got it. Well, Coach, so obviously as we near the end of the season, which again is crazy because I haven't been able to speak to you in a while, but 6 games, I know, 6 games remaining on the schedule for you guys, regular season, then that WAC tournament. Right now you guys are in the bottom half of the WAC standings. So how important is it, again, if you could win out those 6 games, is that what you're looking to do to get you guys back in a better standing before that tournament?
Well, you always want to be, just for a record, for confidence, you always want to be at the top of the standing for recruiting. A lot of purposes why you want to be at the top of the standing, but most of all, you know, you just want to put yourself in the best position. Every game counts now.
We're going to do a little fun with this because, again, love is in the air. It's Valentine's Day, so this is going to be a love theme. Fast break 5.
All right.
All right. So you love the game of basketball, right? What is the one thing that people wouldn't expect that you love about this game?
Wow. I would say probably the challenge after losses I embraced it. It's almost like fixing something, you know what I'm saying? So some people think losing is so horrible, and you just said it about the fine lining that you can look through. That is probably the thing that kind of pumps me up as much as anything, and most people wouldn't probably think that about me, you know, that because sometimes my expression says that I'm miserable, you know, but I'm really down inside. There's a burningness in there to say, hey man, I gotta fix this and this is gonna go well. So I love to do that.
As always, we love to hear from Coach Barnes. You know what else we love? That soccer teams have made it to the Valley Championships tonight. We have 8 teams playing on the pitch for that Valley title, split right down the middle for our ladies and boys. And lucky for us, many teams are hosting the big games in town. 4 boys teams all head-to-head tonight in D3. Foothill will be hosting Highland over at